I don't know. Right. I mean to ask you because I thought LGBTQ members don't believe in God. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. Most people do believe in God. They don't have to be LGBTQ. Abu, I have a friend. Her name is Haya. Uh, I met her through my live streams, and she's Muslim. She believes in God. In fact, she believes in God way better than I do. And she's a practicing Muslim, by the way. I'm not a practicing Muslim. She is. Um, I just believe in God. I'm not a religious person. I just believe in God. That's it. That's all I can define myself as. I don't take sides of religion because I think when you believe in religions, then you can't be critical of religions. When That's why I don't call myself religious because I am critical of every religion. There are certain things in religions that I don't agree with, and according to certain religions, if you ask even a single question, you're a blasphemer. You can't ask questions and all that. That's why I don't call myself a religious person. I just call that I believe in God. That's all I do. And don't ask me which God because I believe in the real God. That's all I can say. Whatever name you can call that God. Um, I'll, there was a time when I stopped believing in God. There was a time when I actually almost thought that I was atheist. I never truly admitted in my own self that I was atheist at that time, but I think more people could tell that I was kind of like atheist, and that's not because I stopped believing in God. That was because I was so frustrated seeing crime happening around me, seeing women get beaten, seeing like kids getting attacked and brutally, all sort of nasty stuff. And when I saw those news, when I saw those things, automatically like my faith was getting weaker and weaker from God at that time. But eventually, I started feeling very lonely because throughout my life, I have grown up, like especially from my youngerhood to my adulthood, I have been very practicing religious person, and I started feeling very lonely and alone. I started feeling frustrated because when you grew up with certain ideology, with certain ideology where you can't think of you can't think anything better. You have this sort of imagination that God is always watching you like a big brother, and they can listen to you. They are your friend. Blah. That's how I've been taught what God is. So I never felt lonely in that sense. So when I stopped believing in God at that time, I thought I'm lonely. I can't deal with it. Like my psychology was getting so weaker, even though I know the reality that that why God is not helping those people who are in need, and why God is letting Satan taking over everything and stuff like that. So many questions, so many questions. They're not getting answered. So I had to really talk to myself and tell myself that, what, maybe God is not the same way as I perceive God, as I have been grown up perceiving God. Maybe God is just different. It's not all good or all bad. It's just maybe God has some gray shades. Who knows? So I started believing back in God, but my belief is not the same way as it used to be. It's a different type of belief. I still haven't got the answers of my questions that in my privacy, I used to ask God. And you can tell, like, it's very serious topic for me, and I always get emotional talking about this. Yep. When you were that close to God and we grow up believing in God that much, and if you see people getting hurt, it makes you really wonder and question. I never had a question from God about myself, like, oh, I was never upset with God in a way that, oh, God, why did you make me this way? Of course, I have asked questions to God regarding this when I was a child, and I used to cry and all that. But that did not make me change my opinion about God at that time. My opinion changed because of some other people who were struggling. For example, when I saw, people in Afghanistan some SA cases of kids in Pakistan, in India. Again, there were some SA cases, like especially like these atrocities, atrocities towards women and kids. When I see them, I, I get so frustrated. I don't like it. The acid attack victims, there are plenty of them on these countries, and I get so overwhelmed thinking about that. Faith in higher power is the only way I could get to where I get. I'm receiving heroin addict 3 years on January. God willing, and faith in higher power is the only way I could get to where I got. Are you talking in a way, Mr. Smith, like it got worse because of your belief, or you got better? Oh, you're recovering. Sorry, I missed that part. You're recovering from heroin addict, and God, believing in God, helped you with that. That's really good. That's what I'm saying. I think for me, it doesn't matter. A lot of atheists take pride on themselves by thinking that just because they believe in God, just because they believe in God, they everything. Sorry, they don't believe in God, or just because somebody else believe in God, they are silly, or this is unimaginable and stuff like that. To be honest, I criticize those atheists, the ones who actually have the superiority complex that they are evolved. Because some atheist people do really genuinely believe. When I was almost became an atheist, I was talking to a lot of atheist people, and what I've realized by talking to them that most of them, no matter if they change their way of thinking towards God, but they haven't improved as human beings. Not all of them have improved, not necessarily. To be a good human, you don't have to be an atheist. You can be anyone. You can either be a believer, or you can either be an atheist. If you're a good human, you can be a good human. But to be a good human, it is not a condition to become an atheist. I've come across one atheist person who said they were ex-Muslim. That person said he was ex-Muslim, and he's now evolved, and he started laughing at those Muslims and the practices in the Muslim areas and stuff. And what I noticed in that person's behavior is like he started getting the superiority complex that, well, I'm better because I'm no more Muslim. I'm evolved. So when I started like meeting that person, basically we were dating, and when I started like dating him, I've realized he's still as orthodox as anybody with any faith would be. Just because he's atheist, he hasn't evolved, because he told me that he can't go out with me to be seen with me outside, because he was worried what are the people gonna say and stuff. And I was passable that time. There was never a problem. But he was like in his head, he was not comfortable with the idea. He wasn't comfortable with the idea of, taking a trans person seriously, or like small things like these. They made me question, are you actually evolved? What is your idea about LGBTQ? And he laughed about that. And I was like, okay, well, so if you are that much hypocrite that you can date a trans woman, you can sleep with a trans woman, but when it comes to be seen with a trans person, you're gonna be like, well, I'm worried what's gonna happen, this and that. Then you're not actually evolved. You're not. So that made me change my mind a little bit about atheist people. I thought, no, just because you're an atheist doesn't make you in a higher position all of a sudden. Yep, personal problem. And I thought, so I thought, no, it's no point. You can be any faith, you can be believing in any religion, as long as you are a good human being. If you can understand people, if you can give respect to people, that's the most important part. There are plenty of people from any faith who would personally, privately message me or try to, sleep with me and pretend to be the religious people. But there is no difference between them or the person who calls themselves atheist, but they still want to do things privately rather than publicly. And I have a problem with that. But there are plenty of people. Then later on, I found my, ex-boyfriends and stuff, and I've realized not everybody is the same. There are different people in this world. There are people in this world who can believe in any religion, but they can still accept you. They're confident in themselves, and they have more humanity in them. So my first ex was Muslim, and my second ex-boyfriend was an atheist. He was a Christian before, then he became an atheist. And both of them, like, they may have some other problems. Our relationship broke up because of some other issues, but one thing I admire in both of them, and that was they were never ashamed of to be seen with me. They were not ashamed to be seen with me. They gave me respect as a woman, trans woman, but as a woman, they give me outside, like to other people who did not know about me. They give me respect as women, and I truly appreciate both of them and their qualities regarding that. So again, yeah, they don't have to be religious or non-religious to be, open-minded enough. Hi, Kapil Kumar. J, UK means Uttarakhand. Maybe. Get some cheese to erratic. You mean erotic, June bug. Okay, I was agnostic at one point. Never an atheist. Atheists have a belief, agnostics have a question, lol. Yeah, that is true. I always had a question. Maybe I was never an atheist. I was probably an agnostic because I always had this question. Yeah. But the thing is, like, you can't, sometimes it's difficult to give yourself label because, especially when we have a questioning mind, our mind goes everywhere, especially when we're trying to figure out what God means, what is God. So the mind goes everywhere. And when the mind goes everywhere, you might give yourself so many labels. One day you're one thing, the second day you might be something else. So, hi, Haya. Today, Haya, we are talking about anything, to be honest, a personal live stream. But right now, we are talking about God and religion. So if you have anything to say, please let me know. Do you think, by the way, Haya, so I was just telling about you as well some minutes ago that, I have a friend who is Muslim and she's a trans. So I just want to know your point of view. Like, do you think your belief in God has gone stronger, or do you still complain to God about, why are you, if you think, you complain or you ask question to God like why you are trans or blah blah blah, something like that? Do you do that? Right. Let me see. Meanwhile, if somebody said anything different in the comment section. God accept everyone. Thank you, X. That's nice way to put it. Would you buy our robot cat? They are really cute. Yeah, I don't know. I have a real cat, to be honest. Okay. What I believe, because people who are against LGBT, they always say God will not accept you, so don't accept these type of. Well, the people who say this they truly don't know God. They only are going by the book, by the law. Because I think if you truly believe in a religion, in any religion, if you truly believe in a religion, then you are required to be empathetic. You're required to not judge people. You're required to have your heart clean and do not have this sort of biasness in your heart or malice in your heart towards anyone if you are a true believer. But unfortunately, a lot of people forget that. And for them, being religious is another way of superiority complex, another way of, prioritizing themselves and try to demean other person to a lesser level so they feel better about themselves. Some people are so, you know, immature. So those people, they may call themselves religious people, but they're worse than that. They're worse than non-believers either. Oh, thank you, gaming. Oh, thank you for your super chat. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm doing live from both ways. Like I'm doing live or landscape mode or portrait mode, and I'm enjoying it. Guys, I'm so sorry if I'm missing someone's comment, but I'm trying to read both ways the comments, like the portrait mode and the landscape mode. But I think landscape mode gives you better screen. It's a bigger screen, so yeah, that's much better. Okay, what's going on here? I will second. Yeah, okay. I will never complain to God. So Haya's message I'm reading. She's saying, I never complain to God. I see for help. I seek for help, and I have strong belief. He was one where there was no one. My faith is strong. I do pray 5 times. Sorry, yeah, do pray 5 times. Still, no one can take me out of my religious belief. Brilliant, Haya. If you are evolved, if you have a warmth in your heart, and if that's between you and God, so I think you're fine the way you are, and that's perfect. That's perfect way to put it. That's why I don't criticize anyone's religion, guys. Because a lot of people they come on my live stream whenever I make criticism type video when I react to religions and stuff. Not religion, sorry. When I react to people who probably part of any religion, but the way they are trying to manipulate other people, the way they're trying to use religion for their own benefit, and by saying to people, oh, you shouldn't do this, this is haram, or this is this and this is that. I'm against those type of people who give them authority to dictate people what they should, what they shouldn't, or the people who try to, unalive people in the name of religion. That's horrendous. If you're a good human being, if you have a warmth in your heart, then you would try to understand other people as human being. You can't follow any religion if you're not a good human being. I believe that. I truly believe that. You need to be a really good human to believe in any religion, because only then you will not be manipulated by wrong doers, or if anybody tried to manipulate you with your belief, with your religion, because plenty of religions, they have so many. Sometimes in some religions, obviously there are some wars and some other things written which are not very exactly peaceful, but then if you're a good human being, you will still listen to that, but you will not become that. You will always choose the good path over violence, over anything else. And I still believe in goodness of people. I think no matter what religion you believe in, if you have a goodness in your heart, you might not go against your religion, but you will still not choose to hurt other people. Because when people choose to hurt other people, those are the people they're seeking to hurt other people, but they just want to find the means to hurt other people, and sometimes they seek excuses from religion and their beliefs. And once they just read one line out of context, they concentrate on the word war, and they just try to declare war on people. Most of the time, people try to gain power over other people through the means of religion, and that wasn't the initial purpose of religion, but they do that. Okay, what is Haya saying? Bless you, Haya. You have a lovely feelings, to be honest. What's going on here? So I request people don't judge me on religion, purpose, and your study. I respect you. Okay, not to hate just because I chose my path and gender of comfort, the role I can be fit wisely and smartly happy. Exactly, Haya. But that's the thing. Whatever is happening between you and God is between you and God, right? Who who is the third person to try to dictate you that you can't believe in God just because you are trans or just because you are something else. If it makes you feel better to believe in God, believe in God. Because what I can tell from you that you're a good human being, for me that's more important, that you're a good human being. Same thing like abroad, outside of Muslim countries, for example, when Muslim people go outside of Muslim countries, and a lot of people criticize them for being Muslim, and they ask them all sort of questions like, this is written in Islam, this is written in book, that is written in book. What are you going to say to that? Do you support this? Do you support that? Not all people would support that. They, unfortunately, not a lot of people being Muslim or being or any type of Abrahamic religion, the ones who are not just Islamic religion, but any religion that requires you to, you know, be good human, but not concentrate on those things that is written like in a war term or something. Then it takes a very smart person, intelligent person, and peaceful person to choose the good side of that religion rather than, the war side of the religion. And there are plenty. That's why when I sometimes make videos of people, or I do reaction video on those people who try to pray on streets, for example, let's say the ones who are praying on streets when they going abroad in Western countries, I think rather than doing good to the religion, they are doing bad to their religion. The reason why they're doing bad to the religion, because that way they're annoying people who, and they're not thinking what other people can be feeling when they're seeing you praying on their street. Because if they follow the same logic, they can come to the street. For example, any Hindu person can come to the street and try to do their puja on the street. Would you be happy with that? As a like, if it's a Muslim area and if they started doing it, I'm sure there will be a problem for that person who's Hindu. So why do you have that double standard? These are the type of people who manipulate the power of religion for their own good. There are plenty of mosques. Yeah, in so many countries, there are plenty of mosques. Why don't these people go in mosques and pray in their own mosques? Just like everybody else. Like Christians go to church when they want to pray. Hindus go to temples when they want to pray. And the ones who don't go to church or temples or mosques, they pray at their home. Why do you have to? And you can pray in your heart. Like, you don't need to have proper, namaz prayer on the street. That is, you're trying to gain attention. That's the attention-seeking attitude that some people have to talk about. Really, that is not acceptable. I'm sorry. The people who do it, especially in Western countries, those countries are not used to seeing people like that. You can do it in your own country because the majority of people will understand you are Muslim, they are Muslim. They can understand that. But they will not do it in their own country. They will only do it in Western countries. Try to gain attention like that. Why is it acceptable? Hey, I'm an atheist, not every atheist, and same. We are the biggest supporter of LGBTQ. Krish, I like it. Thank you very much. I'm not talking about every atheist are like that. I'm only talking about those people. For example, I give example of one of my, the person who I dated for a while, and he said he was an ex-Muslim. He left Islam. So that's what he said, and I was like, okay, I did not judge him or anything. But then if he left Islam and if he became an atheist, I was expecting him to be more civilized, to be more understanding towards other people with differences, with minorities. But on contrary, he was not comfortable with the idea of LGBTQ or with anything else. You don't have to. I wouldn't mind if he had the same idea if he was not dating a trans person. But he was dating a trans person. So when you're dating a trans person, what is your problem that you can't give the respect to that person, and you have kind of like a secondary respect? There's no respect. Like, you treat trans or LGBTQ people as secondary citizens or something. and then you claim yourself to be an atheist, you know, while you're dating a trans person. So that's the hypocrisy. You either don't date a trans person, then I would understand you may be uncomfortable with the trans people, with LGBTQ people, and you don't understand it. So I can say, yeah, fine. You think differently. You're not comfortable with the idea. Then yeah, why not? There's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you're not just comfortable, and I would agree with it. I don't want to. I have nothing against those people who do not like LGBTQ, or who do not want to do anything with LGBTQ, who do not understand LGBTQ. I have no problem with those people. But I have problem with those people who are open to date LGBTQ, but they're ashamed to be seen with LGBTQ, especially when they're in Western countries. I'm not talking about when they're in, Muslim countries or Orthodox countries where their lives can be at risk if they openly date an LGBTQ person. I'm talking about those Muslims and those religious people who leave their religion and go in Western countries and still behave the same way as if they are in those countries where they can't do stuff like that. So what's the point of you leaving your religion? You can just be the same way because there's no difference. Um, why the messages are not moving at all? Okay. You're talking your words, what you told reality, how people using religion for their good. Absolutely, Nomi Malik. Absolutely. That's why people judge, a lot of Muslims outside of uh, in Western countries, and then people say why people becoming, cruel to Muslims or Hindus, and it's not just Muslim; it's also Hindu people. For example, like in Canada, there are plenty of videos of Indian people, breaking coconut on the street by doing prayers or playing Holi or Garba or something like that on the streets of Canada. How is that fair? Like, especially when local people are giving so many complaints about the noise and you know, the mess some people leave outside. Why is it like people need to realize it's okay to pray, it's okay to believe in your own religion, it's okay to you have a pride in your own nation or in your culture, but at the same time, don't don't prioritize it as much in front of other people. Don't brag about it. They don't need to know. Like just as much as you want them to respect your culture, your religion, you need to give the same respect back to them. If you can't do it, how can you expect them to be civilized with you? And that's the problem with modern, Muslims or Hindus or anyone who go abroad and try to have this double standard that, well, people have to respect us and our religion and our culture and our values and our costume, but we are not going to give the same respect to them when they start wearing bikinis or when they start showing in mini skirts. Can you imagine, like, a lot of Asian people, the way they stare at women who wear short clothes if they see it? Why is that? Why can't you then accept them? If you're wearing a shuttlecock, hijab and burqa, why can't and you don't want other people to to look at you like an alien? Then why are you giving them those looks that they can't wear short clothes in your area? It's the same attitude. It's bad. It's double standard. You're expecting them to give you respect, but you're not giving the same respect back to them, especially when you're in their country. That is what I'm up against. Thank you, gaming. If you don't believe in God, God will send you to hell. What's that joke? Um, I don't think any person who truly believe in God should pray to God only because they're afraid to go to hell. I think when people that's where people get God, the idea of God, wrong, you know, because they are looking at it as a chore. So if you don't do this chore, you're gonna fail in exam. If you're not gonna do this chore, then you will not go to heaven. If you do this chore, then you will go to hell. They these are just chores for them. They're not religious because they love God. there is a difference between when you truly love God, the idea of God. If you really think your God is civilized God, then you need to show it from your own behavior, because people will perceive your God according to how you act. So if you act violently, if you don't behave right, if you don't have any civic sense, then people will take your God the same way as you demonstrate yourself. This is what people forget. They have to be loving so that people can think that God is loving. If they're only saying, "Oh, Jesus loves you," but all they are doing is coming here, commenting, "Oh, you are an abomination, you are this and that, you are an insult, or you are a curse, or something, or you're gonna go to hell," and then in the end saying, "Oh, Jesus loved you," and stuff. How does that make sense? Do you really think that you're the good candidate who Jesus wants to, um, like or approve? Similarly, and it's not just Christianity, I'm talking about any religion, any person who think that they can preach God with hate towards other people, with malice for other people, and preaching God's word. I don't think you are doing justice to God's name. And you really do. I doubt those people even understand the concept of God. You don't pray so that God will put you in heaven. That's like a condition. You're doing it because you have some sort of greed that you will go to heaven if you do that. And in heaven, you can find 72 virgins or something. That's why you're doing good. Otherwise, if that wasn't the fruit or result of your good deeds, then you wouldn't be doing good deeds. No, that's not the case. You need to be good regardless. If you truly believe your God is real, you have to show it with your behavior. You have to be a good human being so that other people can definitely see and they can get impressed. Probably that will inspire them more to believe in your religion than anything else. Um, Offensive to who? Ramen. What do you mean offensive? Oh, somebody said Ramen, you're offensive. What did Ramen say? Ramen didn't say anything. God just watching and laughing at us. Ramen, probably yes, laughing at those people who are doing, those atrocities in the name of God. To be honest, those are the real people, the ones who are taking the name of God and doing atrocities. God is laughing at them because they are the ones who are gonna see the real hell when they die. Thinking because they are right in their own head, but they're forgetting they're hurting human beings, other human beings. Tim, Ramin did not say anything bad. Okay, the adhan is coming right now in my house. 1 second. Can you hear it? Can't even mute it, guys. Sorry. Because there are two things I have to mute if I do mute. Hi, Nirvana. Good to see you. The Timothy, I don't think displaying, if you, for example, if you are a nun, for example, and if you are walking in your own nun costume, I don't think most people would have a problem with that, as long as you're not judging people with a short costume. That's my point. My point is not like you got to leave your costume if that is something that you really want to. For example, there are some Orthodox Jews, you know, ev- who have all the black robe and hat and two braids coming out. Very typical image of some Jews, Orthodox Jews, and a lot of people recognize you like that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think people, if they want to wear their traditional, their cultural, their religious clothes, they can wear it as long as they are being tolerant towards other people who can wear their own clothes. Problem starts when people can wear their own clothes, but then they judge other people. But again, if I think the best thing is that if you are in a Western country, for example, and if people are not you see you the way you are, then the best thing would be, rather than not trying to gain attention, just behave like everybody else so that you can blend in well. And if you can't blend in well, nobody's going to force you to blend in well. But then you shouldn't be in those countries where you're not, people are not used to see people like that. I think that would be the best thing you can do. But unfortunately, that's what you're seeing, because people purposely going to those countries where people are not used to that a costume, that they're not used to the other tradition, they're not used to see uh, different type of religion and different type of culture. They want, because they already have a developed culture and stuff. So when they're not used to, and when you're going to other people's country, then you need to be mindful of that. You need to be respectful of that, so that's where the annoying nature comes for. You can do whatever you want in your own country, or in your own religious country, which follows the same religion, follows the same values that you follow. You can do it over there, and there is nothing wrong. Nobody will, take offense over there. But when you go abroad, where people already have a very different type of culture, different type of costume, and they're not used to see people like that, then you try to blend in. I think that would be the civilized thing to do, rather than you are a single person, then you try to change everything around you rather than changing yourself. That's the bad thing, because at the end of the day, it is their country. It is, you're going to a different country. They're not coming to your country. You're going to their country. That's what I'm talking about. Hi, Shraddha. Well, I know there's a lunar eclipse today. I don't know. I've never like literally noticed lunar eclipse. I've always like known more of like a solar eclipse, but yeah, there is a lunar eclipse tonight, guys. It's not evening yet here. Not that dark yet here. Okay. Base reality, we are human being, live without hurting anyone, at least by conscious, just follow your own business, and you can see heaven alive, no need for after that hell or heaven. Absolutely. Sri Satya Sai Pradeep. That's very true. That is very true. Like, humans can actually, if they work well among each other, and if they are mindful of each other, then they can create heaven in this life. Yeah, they can make this life as heaven, as paradise. But unfortunately, instead of doing that, we focus on, how to make someone feel bad, how to, criticize the other person so we feel better about ourselves. We some people do that sort of stuff, which is wrong. So I'm not gonna say some people do that. There is no heaven or hell. Live like a normal human guy in 2025. Krish is saying there is no heaven or hell, so live like a normal person. Krish, there's nothing wrong with that ideology. That's an atheist ideology, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you believe in that, why not? That's the point of view. Like, I was reading other message where somebody actually believes in heaven or hell, and you are the one who's not believing in heaven or hell, and both of you, I don't have any problem with any of your ideology, whether that person's ideology who said they believe in heaven and hell, and your ideology who says you don't believe in heaven or hell. It's 2025. The only problem starts when people, because of their differences of ideology, they forget the main point. The main point is to live the best way you can without annoying other person. That's the moral of the story. Whether you believe in heaven or hell, whether you don't, whether you're doing good for afterlife or whether you're doing good for this life, either way, live your life without making hassle for other people.